Hello, my name is Mr. Allen, and I'm the middle school band director at Concordia International School, Shanghai. Welcome to my flipped classroom. Today, we're going to discuss how to assemble a clarinet. It is my preference that the student either has a table or, if he or she is in the classroom, to set the case down on the floor to avoid it falling out of the student's lap and causing possible damage to any section of the instrument or the case. This is my clarinet case. I've unzipped it, and now I'm going to open it so we can identify the sections. I like to assemble the clarinet beginning with the bottom up. So I'm going to start with the bell. And that's easy to see because it looks like a ding, 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 a bell. The next part I should identify is what I call the lower joint, or the lower section of the clarinet. This is easy to identify because it's usually the longer piece that sits in the case, either at the top or the bottom of the case. The next section is called the middle joint, or the upper joint, and it's easily identifiable because we have a cork on the top and a cork on the bottom. Next, we have the barrel and the mouthpiece and ligature, which connect together. When the instruments are new, it's a great idea to grease the corks using cork grease every day until the instrument breaks itself in and the corks aren't hard to put together. Right? So I've already done that with this instrument. So I'm going to take my bell in my left hand and get a good grasp on it. Then I'm going to find my lower section, and I'm going to grab it or hold it from the lower end because I'm not wrapping my hands around all these keys and possibly pushing or grinding on them, causing them to get damaged or misaligned. So I've got my hand right around the instrument like this, and the other one. And what I do is I align the cork with the bell, and then I'm simply going to push from side to side as it comes in and lines up. And if you're really particular like I am, you'll see that the middle of these keys aligns with the emblem of the make and model of the instrument. So I take another look at it again. Good. The next part we do is we connect the upper joint to the lower joint of the clarinet, forming the main body of the instrument. Here's where we have to be careful. These pieces fit together like a puzzle. I usually take out the upper joint in both my hands until I'm comfortable doing this without it and using only one hand. But you notice this section here that has these outer keys? I like to have that facing away in my right hand. As you see, I'm holding it like this. And the center circle key, or what I call is where my thumb goes. And you'll see a little key here on the side that wiggles. That is very essential you're able to do that comfortably and very quickly. And I use my thumb because it still gives me a better grasp on the upper joint. It's almost like a handlebar on a bicycle. If I'm holding it like this, and I keep the bridge key pressed down because that will bridge both sections together. Now if I take a look, you'll see that there's two pieces here that are going to align where that bridge key is going to connect like a puzzle. So I've got my lower joint and bell connected, and I've got a good firm grasp on that on the lower end, and I've got my upper joint ready to push and wind together until I line up those two keys on the side, and there I have the main body of the clarinet. Once that's done, I ask my clarinet players to set their instrument down in the case. And the next part, since we always begin with mouthpiece warm-ups, I like them to do this separately. Taking the mouthpiece and the barrel, push and wind them together. And if you are very particular like I could be sometimes, I like to have the mouthpiece lined up with the emblem that you might see here on the barrel. Right? And this is the mouthpiece face where the reed will go. I've already pre-moistened my reed. Sometimes it's a good idea to have the reed in your mouth while you're assembling the clarinet to get it moist, but it's probably not a good idea for me to have that in my mouth while I'm trying to speak to you. Right? So I've got this down, and I find my ligature, and I'm going to simply put my reed on the mouthpiece and line it up evenly on both sides and move it with my thumbs until I can just see the tip of the mouthpiece that the reed is nice and even on. Once I clearly see that, I'm going to take my ligature and I'm going to place it over the top of it and move it below the natural curve in the bamboo. So it might look something like this. The ligature is sitting below the natural curve in the reed. And once it's lined up straight and even and you can barely see the top, you'll know that it's on there correctly. Now I'm using a different kind of ligature that might come with your clarinet case. If you use one like this that has the single mechanism, it should be on the top right of the mouthpiece. Then I know I've got my mouthpiece and barrel there. When I'm done with that, I hold my clarinet on my knee with a firm hand, and I look at the back of the reed, and I look at the back of the clarinet. The reed and the back of the clarinet, where this thumb hole is, should be perfectly aligned when you wind them together. When you see the alignment like that, you know that you have the clarinet assembled properly. Always be gentle and set it down. When you're not using or playing it, it's a good idea to put your mouthpiece cover on it to protect your reed, and always lay it down in the case, on the floor, if you're practicing at home, on the table. I hope this video has helped you review the process and that you are more comfortable now assembling your clarinet. Thank you.